Right, I'll show you the processor and the hard drive that will be upgraded. But first, let me show you the processor once again. So we do have the specs right here written. So here it is, the 500 MHz and the level 2 cache is 512. The frontside bus is running at 100 MHz and the voltages for this CPU is 2.0 volts. Pentium III. And I also purchased another hard drive, like I said. But first I want to show you something else probably you're not aware of. This one here is the Samsung 40 Gigabyte. Now this motherboard, the GA6PX, the motherboard for this slot one, it doesn't support the hard drives bigger than 30 gigabytes. So every time I tried using the bigger hard drives, the 40 gigabytes or the 60 gigabyte, the motherboard was not able to recognize the hard drive. I tried different settings in the BIOS by removing the jumpers of the hard drives, and the motherboard was always passive. For some reason, I believe, even though I did try updating the BIOS, looking for on the internet for a newer version of the BIOS, but there was nothing. So it has this motherboard also has the last revision of the BIOS, and of course it does working properly. But in order to use it, you need to have the retro hard drives for the IDE. So right now, let me show you something else. This hard drive, of course, it has 40 gigabyte. Let me zoom in so I can show you exactly what I mean by that. It does have right here 40 gigabyte. But the Samsung has an option that you can shrink the volume in order to be able to see into the BIOS like the older motherboards, like I have right here from this slot one. So all you have to do is just use here two jumper that starting from the left to the right. You can insert right here. So if you focus closer, we see that the two jumpers are responsible for the shrink of the volume of the hard drive. And there is a graphic right here. You have to do just better attention, that is important. So the limit, in order to limit the capacity of the hard drive, like it's written here, it says limit capacity to 32 gigabyte. So the general pin settings will be just like I show you. Of course, we do have the master for the one drive, we do have the slave and the cable select. But in our situation, all you have to do is just put the two jumpers here in order to limit the capacity of the hard drive. And I did that already, and I did that just like shown here anyway. So the hard drive is recognized correctly. Now all you have to do is just put this thing together and set the frontside bus of the motherboard. Now the second thing that I was supposed to make is to setting the motherboard in order to see the processor from multiplier to 3 to 5.5. And after that I'm going to have to set the frontside bus. So I'm going to do that right now. See you in just a little bit. Back to the motherboard, guys. I reinstalled the CPU into the socket. And I had to modify from the clock ratio. I had to modify from here. I'm going to show you exactly. So we do have for the 1, 2, 3 that is off, and 4th will be on. And moving here, we see that the 1, 2, 3 is down, off, and 4th is on, right here. And now we have to make I mean I did the other the adjustments. So right here. So in order to have, let me focus more so you can see, because it's not okay. So JP5, JP4, JP2, and JP6 must be 1, 2, 1, 2. And JP2 and JP6 also 1, 2, 1, 2. Now if you focus here, let me magnify so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. JP5, JP4, is set 1, 2, 1, 2. JP3, JP2, and JP6. JP3 and JP2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And JP6, it's pretty much the same like the Pentium II. JP6 will be, instead of 1, 2, is 2, 3. Why it's so weird, this combination, is because the motherboard will not be starting. I did try to different combination by using the multiplier from here, and also looked here to see if I can change something and make it better. And I also looked, because since the CPU has 2.0 volts, I thought maybe it's needed to change something else. And there is a jumper right here. This jumper behind the processor right here says that is 1, 2 is turbo and 2, 3 normal. That will be JP7. And now let's see if we can find right here the JP7. No, it's not present anymore. Anywhere, pardon? No, it's not. So I also try to use the normal, using this jumper behind the processor, but with no success because there was no change in the behavior of the motherboard. Now I'm assuming that the motherboard, being so old, must have some issues. Some of the parts from the motherboard might be damaged or something, or maybe, and probably it doesn't have anything, I don't know. But in order to diagnose it, you need to measure all the parts from here, including the transistor and all of that is, and of course there is a lot of work, and the best way to check every component on this motherboard is to have the electronic schematics. So yeah, this kind of thing that is only available for the engineer, the electronist or something that has experience in these kind of things, but yeah, what can I say? So the motherboard will start perfectly fine right now, but instead of 550 megahertz like is shown here, this processor will use 600 megahertz. The reason for that is if I'm changing back the JP6 from here, the motherboard will not start at all. Yeah, that's strange, what can I say? But that is not important because in many assembly lines that I did for using the Pentium III computer and the 440BX motherboard with Asus, not Gigabyte, because I only used the Asus back in the day, there is no problems. So of course, if the processor will get hot, I will be adding my Freezer Pro 7 cooler, and it's not going to be any problem. So without further ado, let's try the games and see the Windows XP, because I already installed that, and see you from there. Alright guys, so after a long day, I managed to reinstall the Windows XP once again, because it did give me problems. Now, I believe there is a problem with the memory modules that keeps giving me the errors all the time, and I wasn't sure why exactly. So this one was 32 gigabyte, and this one here was 128, as running at PC 100, which is fully compatible with the motherboard, the Gigabyte GX 6VX. So right now the computer has 128 megabyte installed. I have to remove the other module in order to have this the system stable. So if you focus right here, we do have that it's clocked at 650 megahertz, the processor, and the memory has 128 megabytes of RAM. Now, so far so good, because I did give me, installing and downloading all the time, and burning the DVDs in order to find a good solution for this game to work. Let me show you exactly what I did. Here in Device Manager, is not much to show you, but using the drivers that is stock provided by the Windows, you cannot also install another driver, even if the driver that you can find on the internet and designed for the XP is newer, because it kept telling me that the driver that is installed by the Microsoft is the best that you can get. But I managed to find another driver that is fully compatible with the Windows XP, and if you're more interested, you can run this on your machine home if you're interested. So this driver is calling the Evolution for 3D Fix Voodo Banshee, right here. So you'll be needing this one in order to properly run the games. Now I'm not sure, because on other machine, on the other machines, of course, things will look differently. Maybe you have probably the stable video card, or probably a motherboard, or whatever. I don't know, because every machine is different. Even though there are similar, of course the behavior will be different. I'm just assuming that. I don't know. So anyway, this is the driver that I was telling you about, and right now it seems to be working, but not very good. So I'm going to show you. I will be starting playing the games that I was telling you about, and see what exactly I'm talking about. And yeah, so without further ado, just let me start the game and show you how it works. Okay, I turn on the speakers. I'm going to shut up now.
So contagious, yeah, baby. Yeah, your love is so contagious, contagious.